Hello, thank you for checking out A1 Math, and today we're looking at graphing some exponential functions. And what I want to do today is show a real-world example of the difference between linear functions and exponential functions. And I want to show you how to graph a exponential function or how to come up with the solution in order to graph it using the calculator. So let's take a look. All right, so we got a first example here, and it says the table represents the cost of the tickets to an annual event as a function of the number T of tickets purchased. Complete the table by adding 10 to each successive cost. Plot each ordered pair from the table. So this is real simple. All we're going to do is that they're selling tickets, and they want us to add 10 to each one. So when we do that, we'll have 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 plus 10 is 30. 30 plus 10 is 40. And 40 plus 10 is 50. Okay. So this is the number of tickets, and this is the cost. Okay. And we set up the ordered pair. What goes in these boxes is the exact same number: 30, 40, and 50. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is plot each one of these points. So at 1, we get 10. At 2, we get 20. At 3, we get 30. At 4, we get 40. And at 5, we get 50. Okay, simple enough. And notice how it makes a straight line, and it's discrete because you have a certain amount of tickets sold and a certain amount of price you get, nothing in between there. So that is plotting a linear function. You should be very familiar with this by now. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a exponential. Okay, so in this exponential, it says the number of people attending an event doubles each year. So before we was adding 10, this time it doubles. The table represents the total attendance at each annual event as a function of the event N. Complete the table by multiplying each successive attendance by 2 and plot each ordered pair on the table. So what we're going to do is just multiply by 2 on each one. So 20 by 2 is 40. 40 times 2 is 80. 80 times 2 is 160. And 160 times 2 is 320. Okay, and again, this is just the ordered pair, so these numbers are going to be the same. And now we're going to go ahead and plot these points. So you go over 1 and go up 20, go over 2 and go up 40, go over 3 and go up 80, go over 4, go up 160, and go over 5 and go up to 320. And as you can see, it's also got a regular X and Y graph, but the line is not straight. So this is an exponential function as opposed to a linear function. So instead of adding each time, you're multiplying each time. And instead of plugging in your x and multiplying against something, you're going to use your x as the exponent that you raise a particular number to. So let's take a look at a couple of problems, or at least one problem. All right, so in this example here, it says complete the table for each function using the given domain. Then graph the function using the ordered pair from the table. So what you want to do is take the domain that's given and plug it into the function, just like we've always done with any function. And then they did the first one for you here, where they plugged in -1 in for x, and then they drop your base into a denominator, or you can flip it, multiply by 3, and then you got 6. what I'm going to do is show you how to put it in the calculator. So, got my calculator here. Zoom in. Alright, so what I want to do is type exactly what it says here. Alright, so I'm going to type that function just like it is right here. Yeah. So I'm going to type 3 times 1 divided by 2, and I'm going to put that in parentheses. 1 divided by 2, open parentheses, close parentheses. And then I'm going to raise it, and to do that, I'm going to hit this button right here to the -1, using this negative side right here. Hit enter, and I get 6. So my f of x is 6. Okay, let me do a couple more. Alright, so next time, instead of putting in -1, I'm going to put in 0. So I have 3 times, open parentheses, 1 divided by 2, close parentheses, and raise it to 0. And then hit enter, and I get 3. All right, let me do one more. All right, so this time I'm going to plug in 1. So I have 3 times open parentheses, 1 divided by 2, close parentheses, and again raise it to 1. And this time I get a decimal of 1.5. Okay, if I want to make that a fraction, all I have to do is hit this button here, this A, B/C. It'll give it to me as an improper fraction, or actually a mixed number, 1 1/2. So that would be written as 1 1/2. Okay, so that's how you get the y values or the f of x values when using a calculator. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and write in the rest of the values in and show you what it looks like. So we had 6 at first, then 3, then 1 1/2. Next one would have been 3 4, 3/8, 3/16. Okay, and here you just write the ordered pair. So the next step we want to do is graph. So we would take those ordered pair here and just graph it on our graph. And graph it just like we've always graphed anything else. So, you know, this is your x, and f of x is the same as your y. So you go to -1 and go up 6, go to 0 and go to 3, go to 1 and go up 1 1/2, go to 2 and go up 3/4. So notice you got 2 squares here. So it'd be bigger than a half, be a 3/4 there. All right, 3 is 3/8, and that should be somewhere in here. 3/16 would be even smaller. Okay, so this is our graph, and as you can see, it's getting smaller and smaller. And it will never cross 0 because you'll always have some type of fraction here. So this is an exponential function. Okay, and that's how you graph the functions using the calculator to get your y values. I want to thank you for checking out A1 Math, and have a nice day.